Hi everyone, so this is a new angle, but it's temporary, because in this video I'm gonna share with you my TBR game, and I'm currently situated on the floor, so that I can have everything spread out in front of me. Yeah, so I'm gonna turn the camera around. And this is my TBR game, my Shamanic Journey TBR. So, this is the board, of course, my beautiful masterpiece of a board. And I'm gonna go through the rules. So I have a dice here. And first of all, I'm gonna go through the rules. So, you start here. This is the start, not this. Because these are runes, okay? These are Nordic runes, or not Norse, but Nordic runes. And on this little cloth here, I have actually my runes that I used as a template for this. So there is a simple version of just drawing runes and following the prompts that I have written down on my little cheat sheet. So my thought is that if I like this, and when it's completely done, when I'm like really what's the word? When I'm really happy with it, is that the word? When I'm happy with it, I'm gonna like scan this and then put them in some kind of maybe Google Doc document to be shared if anyone wants to play this game with me or by themselves. So to play this game, we need the board, we need one dice. There are 25 spaces on this board, but there are some, incidents that can occur along the way. So, except for we need a board, and we need a die, and we need our little cards. This is cards that belong to this one. So when we get here, that's Odin's pick, and it says Odin on the cards in runic writing, and then it says Odin's pick in runic writing, and this is the Well of Mimer, which is the Well of Knowledge. So on these cards, this is the TBR cards. So on these cards, I have written the books on my current TBR to maybe fit one in, just like whoopsie daisy. And if you were to do this as well, you could put your TBR books on cards like this, which are just small sheets of paper, or you can put priority picks, like priority reads for maybe the year, or that is a part of a book club, or I don't know, whatever you want. And then we need a jar of prompts, and I'm gonna switch this jar. I would like a yellow jar by the end of this, but this was a good jar in a good size that I just had at home. It was a tea jar from London, I think, in the beginning, and in this we have prompts. So whatever prompts that I couldn't fit onto the board but I still wanted, it could be like prompts that are the opposite of prompts on the board, or just prompts that fit my reads that what I want to read, or maybe genres or whatever that doesn't fit on the board. So this is a jar you can fill with prompts of your choosing, and it says Sun Pick on this with runic writing, because these are the runes. And this one is connected to this one, and I might color in this a bit more, so it's more maybe draw some stuff that makes it more easy to understand the prompts, or connect, like maybe connect this one to this one and this one to this one. So on my cheat sheet I have named both the number of the space so that you can count, and then the rune so that it says what a rune is, because I know all the runes, of course, because I'm a shamanic practitioner and I work mainly with runes and rune magic within the Nordic shamanism. So I know the runes, but you don't know the runes. So so far I have the Swedish names of the runes on here. If this one makes it onto like a Google Doc, I might put the English names on as well. So I will also put a link, if this all with runes and shamanism and whatever tickles your pickle a bit. That's a weird thing, right? I didn't use that one, right? But if you feel intrigued by that aspect of maybe my life and this board, because this board kind of marries the runes with my love of reading. So if you're more interested in the runes and the Nordic shamanism, I will link my other channel where I share a lot of those things in English and Swedish in the description box. Okay, so those are the rules. And I have, as you have seen, because my last video was a reading update where I talked about my finished reads, and I wanted to... This is already a make haste kind of situation here, because I really wanted to use this board for my next reads. So my plan is to play as I go, right? So I'm gonna actually go get something. I was gonna use a special little crystal to move around the board, but I'm gonna see what I have. Just, you will hardly notice, but I will be right back. I could of course use like one of the runes to move around, but where's the fun in that? So I'm gonna actually use the same little crystal that I used for the Spookopoly board that I made when Becca and the Books held her Spookoplathon in October of 24. This is what I used then, so I'm gonna put that here. So I'm gonna have to probably like make another space there, because which just says like start here or whatever. It's because you're gonna start outside, because there is a possibility of it being 1 on the die when we roll it. So I'm gonna, as I said, I'm gonna roll as I go this month. So this is my first visit to this board, and it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. So my thinking is that I'm gonna roll as I go, because the book that I last read was the book that I read the first book of the month, but I also read it, I think I started it in March and it's April now. So I finished that one, and so I'm gonna roll 2 times, because I usually read 2 books at a time between my videos. I have 2 other books that I am currently reading, but they are kind of outside of my library TBR. So I'm gonna roll 2 times during this video, and I'm gonna tell you what I picked, which I hopefully have books in my home for those picks. And then after the next reading update, I will do this again, probably at the end of that video or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I have this one here. I'm just gonna have to, I think I'm gonna roll it. Maybe I can do like this, because now you've seen the board, or I can put it like that, so it's still inside the picture. And then I'm gonna pull this out where my runes are here, and because the die might contain itself around here, we'll see. So for the first pick, we got a 3. So I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3, and that is the rune of Us or Ansus. And on my cheat sheet, I have a book with gods or goddesses, spirituality, or set in the clouds, like flying or something like that. So it could be because if you don't read a lot of fantasy, you might not read books with gods or goddesses. But if you like cultish books about cults or something that might be spiritually related, that can be one. Or it could just be something with birds or set in the clouds, or you're supposed to be able to play with these prompts a little bit so they fit you. But this rune, let's see if I can find it in my bag. Yeah, so this rune of Ansus is the rune of a lot of things, and I took the meaning of gods or goddesses because this is the rune of the upper world of Asgard, where the Aesir lives, and those are gods and goddesses, you know, Odin, Thor, and the rest of them. So that's where I picked the prompt from, but it also has the meaning of the wind, breath, or und, as we say in the Nordic tradition, with und being your spirit or similar to that. And it's also it could also be the rune of your ancestors whispering in the wind, and divine knowledge. So there's a lot of things to this rune, but I picked these prompts. So I'm gonna see what book. I'm gonna roll the die one more time, and then I'm gonna come back to you, and I'm gonna talk about the picks, because I think I'm gonna have to think a little bit on this. But that is the first. So we're gonna roll again. And I want to keep this within like the camera reach, so you see that I'm not cheating. A 1. Okay. That's Raid. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, so this is Raid or Raido, that is the 4th space, the 4th rune, and the prompts for Raid or Raido is Drum Journey. Read a book set in another world, could be sci-fi, fantasy, etc. So the rune of Raid or Raido is the rune of Thor, but it's also, which makes it the rune of storms and lightning and that sort of thing. But it's also the rune of journeys, journey within yourself, journey outside of yourself. So it could be, I could have picked one of those prompts, but I did pick like a journey kind of prompt for another rune. So I picked Drum Journey, read a book set in another world, because this is also the runes for journeying. One of the runes for journeying and traveling within and without outside of yourself into other worlds. Like some of them are depicted on this board, which are the upper worlds, the lower worlds, and the middle worlds of the Nordic way of looking at things, like the Nordic map of cosmos. So let's see, I have to pick a book with either goddesses, goddesses, spirituality, or the skies, and or set in the skies, and I have to pick a book that is set in another world, a fantasy or sci-fi. So I'm gonna have to leave this room and go and see what I can do with those, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have pulled myself off the floor and I'm sitting on my bed. So this is our bedroom, and yeah, I have to sit here right now. Okay, so I picked 2 books, and there were some slim pickings. I thought I had more of these kind of books on my current TBR, but I don't. I think I do have 2 books that could fit, but they're still at the library and I need to bring them home. They are available to me. I have them on reserve and I've got a notification that they are available to pick up, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm gonna go there in 1 or 2 days. So I had to choose from. Well, I do have other books at home, but I didn't really have unread books that fit these prompts on my own shelves. So this is what I went for. So when it came to this prompt, or this space of us or answers, which was a book with gods or goddesses, spirituality, or set in the clouds, I picked Divine Rivals. So let's see. I just opened, I was like, yeah, this has it right. And I opened it, and the first words are, after centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. And I was like, yes. But 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries... Let's see if I can, To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish into the hands of a Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle. For her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. So, and it says epic enemies to lovers fantasy novel with hope of heartbreak and unparalleled power of love. Okay, so that, by the way, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So that could be a hit or miss for me, because I think I enjoy enemies to lovers if it's like a slow build. If they are, they have like banter and they are kinda intrigued by each other, but they also have reasons to hate each other that are beyond them. So if the enemy aspect is personal in the beginning, or if the pacing of the book and the love story is rather quick, those are things that I have a hard time, accepting, I guess. But if they are like on the opposite sides of something, and that's so the hate or like the enemy aspect is because they are opposite sides and not because they have a personal disliking or hate towards each other, then it can be something that I enjoy. I enjoy it more if it's a slow pace build, but if they are, and if that is the kind of enemies they are from the beginning, it might be okay for them to fall like head over heels and then being like tossed, like tugged between their love for each other and the loyalty to their side. But we'll see what this is, because I have heard good things and bad things about it, but I haven't really heard anything about the lovers aspect that would put me off it. And then for the next prompt, which was the fourth space, where I rolled the 1, Raido, Drum Journey, read a book set in another world. And I had to pick the only book on the shelf that were close to that prompt, and it is Caraval, Stephanie Garber's Caraval. And I see now that this is in Swedish. I think I picked the Swedish one, the Swedish translation, simply because it was the one without a queue, like without a waiting list. But that means I'm gonna have to translate the synopsis for you. So bear with me. A decadent and enchanting world. Welcome to Caraval. But before you go into our world, you have to remember that it's just a game. Fulfilled dreams can be wonderful, but they can also transform into nightmares if you don't wake up. Scarlett has never left the little island of Drista, where she lives with her sister Tella and their father. From a distance, she's been fascinated by Caraval, the yearly performance where the spectators are taking part in a magical game to figure out what is real and what is fantasy. When the invitation finally arrives, the sisters go there, but as soon as they step on the island as soon as they step on land, it just says like that. Tella is kidnapped. Scarlet has been taught that everything that takes place during Caraval is fake, but soon she's pulled into a very real game of life and death. So this is not set in our world, so it takes place in another world. So the prompt says read a book is set in another world, which made me I picked this with the thought that you can pick a book that is sci-fi in a completely different world, or fantasy or high fantasy in a completely different world, or with or a book where you travel between worlds in some way or another, like Narnia style, through the closet, that some of it's set in this world and some of it is set in another world. So those are the books I'm gonna read next. So we'll come back when I have read these two and talk about them and roll again. That's the plan. So this is the end of the TBR game video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're curious, at least. So I will see you again soon, and happy reading. Chilling.